So yeah, a bit of a room change there in the fucking in the podcast room, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's I've got my little corner in the bedroom, so I got a new desk, got a new big wardrobe because we had a sort of second bedroom which became the baby's room, and that had a bed that had loads of built-in storage underneath, and then so we
Right,
got rid of that bed. We had all of this, all of your winter clothes, blankets, extra quilts, pillows, all that shit. You're like, where are we going to put this? So
okay.
went down to IKEA, got a new wardrobe, built that, moved the bed across a bit. Um, yeah, yeah.
All the fun shit, all the fun
All
shit.
of
But
all the fun shit, and then when I texted you just before and said, "Oh, bit of a disaster," we were just getting Nori set up on the couch with Amelia just to chill out while I do this. I'm just moving the coffee table back, and the coffee table just completely fell the fuck apart as I was moving it.
that's your building skills, that, isn't it, mate?
It's not. It's not. That was that coffee table. Thank you very much. No slander on my
Carl Pilkington
masculine skills.
Bullshit.
That coffee table. No. That we rent this house we're in, and it's a mostly furnished house, and that coffee table
fair.
is yeah. No, but we're lucky because it's a glass one with 2 layers of glass, and it collapsed onto tiled floor, and the tempered glass held up. So could have been worse.
Oh, at least the glass held up, mate. Right. So anyway, welcome to episode 24, people. I've got fucking Lewis Glover from Punch Drunk Pod, and that's where you're all fucking knowing for. Your favourite podcasts are two guys that know much less about fighting than what they fucking think they do. You know what I mean? I absolutely love it, bro. Your fucking show is fantastic.
Thanks, brother.
So yeah, mate, fucking how's things? How's life? How's it going? Oh, as we've already just been chatting a little bit of shit. Fucking dad life, mate. How is it? Are you enjoying it?
I am, mate. I am. It's awesome. It's I guess it still hasn't quite sunk into a certain extent because you're at the hospital. Things happen real quickly. You come home and you're like, oh, we got a baby now, and you're just sort of figuring things out day by day. And I think we're really lucky as well. She's an absolute diamond of a baby. She's
nice and content.
Already very, very content. Doesn't cry unless she really needs something. She just loves hanging out.
Yeah,
she's the best, man. It's
that's what you
it's
want.
been a real pleasure.
Easygoing parents, you get an easygoing baby because we had the same kind of look. Yeah, I mean, just chilled out.
Yeah, I think
no
so.
whinging or anything like that, and it's just fucking, it's cushy in it. Yeah, I mean, that's what you want.
It is. It's lovely, and it's been so nice being off work, spending that time with her. There was a few periods where I was like getting itchy and like looking at my work emails, and the last week I've just gone, you know what, fuck that, and I've completely me work photos today is great, and I've just completely ignored it, and I go back on Wednesday to work, so it's now Monday, so I'll be paying the price for it Wednesday morning.
Oh yeah, well maybe Tuesday night have a little run over your emails and everything else, and have a little crack at it. Yeah, I mean, so you can see what's going on. Oh fucking hell, I've got notifications and all sorts popping up here, right? So yeah, how's your wife? How's Amelia? She's about 3 weeks old now, yeah.
Yeah, she's 26. Yeah, she'll be exactly coming on up on that 26. Yeah, but 2.5 coming up in 3 weeks. They're both great, both healthy. Everything went as well as you could possibly hope for. You know, when you're planning, there's so much uncertainty. How are things going to play out? Is everyone going to be healthy? Is everything going to go the way you hope for? No complications, anything like that. And it was, pretty much an ideal situation from start to finish, the way it all played out. And yeah, Amelia's good as gold. She's totally healthy. Most beautiful baby in the world right now.
She is, mate. She's beautiful from the pictures that you sent me, mate. Absolutely. Obviously got her mother's looks, but yeah, beautiful kid.
Well, obviously, and yeah, no. So both of them are great. Nori's just absolutely bossing being a mum. She's just a natural at it. She's just got great instinct. She's your mate. It's unbelievable. She's just handling everything that's sort of thrown at her, and I'm just doing what I can to support her. She's brilliant through the night. Like I sleep like an absolute log. It takes all kinds to wake me, and so often through the night when she stirs and she's ready for a feed, she doesn't cry. She just makes a little bit of a noise. Nori hears it. She's up. She feeds her and put her back down.
Straight away. So
straight away.
Next to me, crib, just next to your bed, just chilling there.
That's it, man. That's it. It's over my left shoulder here, and Yeah, she's a diamond. So, she's doing some of the hard yards through the night. Obviously, there's nights when she doesn't sleep quite as well, and we're both up, or she'll poke me and be like, "Oh, go and get this from the kitchen. Go and take her for a nappy change, all that kind of stuff." And then during the day, then I take over and make sure she gets a good couple of hours kip in the afternoon and recharges the battery. So we're just, trying to work as a team.
You're kind of at that ideal moment right now where she's just going to lie there and sleep most of the day herself anyway. So you can, that's the postman just been. I was somebody trying to break through my door there.
So you're about to have an Anthony Smith moment then.
But I haven't got a gun. Yeah, I mean, I've got a staff in it. I'd probably just lick them to death. What the fuck was I saying there? Yeah, so you're at the moment where she's probably just like sleeping all the time herself, so you can get that little bit of respite through the day where you can go and get this thing sorted or that thing sorted. You know what I mean? You get a washing and you can get whatever you've done. I'm at the moment now where she's 16 months and she's running around like an absolute nutter. She's kind of like... Do you remember that it was at the Thornberries and they had that little kid that thought he was like... Mate, she does. I was walking through Tesco the other day and I had her in the trolley in the little seat in front of me and she looks at me and she just goes... I just started screaming. I was like, fuck it, I'm joining in. I started screaming back at her and we were just like screaming back and forth, all these people walking around Tesco like, what the fuck are these doing, man? But it's fucking brilliant, mate. Honestly, it just gets better and better. Like you think, oh man, this time's like the best time I've had so far yet. I wish we could just stay here forever, but I swear to God, just the more they learn, the more they develop, mate. It's fucking phenomenal. Like honestly, I absolutely love it.
Brilliant.
So obviously the due date was on the 17th, wasn't it? And were you born on the 21st, or did you go into the hospital at 21st, born on the 22nd?
Yeah, exactly. So she just wasn't showing up. So they said, all right, come in on the Wednesday evening and we'll start in the inducement.
Right, okay.
And her doctor and the midwife were like, yeah, it'll be a slow burn. We don't expect anything to kick off till 7, 8 in the morning. So we'll set you up, get you nice and comfy.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in the morning as things start to kick off. And we're like, all right, sounds great. And I was staying at the hospital as well because we went to a private hospital just not because we're posh or anything, but all the hospitals, not all the hospitals in Hungary are as good as you want them, and also they're can be quite strict. So there would be nowhere for me to stay over, and in public hospitals, there's no chance of any of the nurses and doctors speaking English and stuff like.
I was going to say that the language barrier as well. That's what I was just thinking there.
Yeah. So we made that decision, and honestly, it was the best decision. The hospital we went to, they were just absolutely phenomenal. So they gave us a room with two hospital beds in. So on the Wednesday night, we just we were hanging out. We had the computer. We ordered some delivery. Ordered some McDonald's to the hospital. I was just chilling, watching Netflix, eating chicken nuggets in bed, just chilling, thinking we're in for a smooth night. For a smooth night, and then all of a sudden, the intense contractions start coming. I'm like, this wasn't what they said. Yeah. So things ramped up pretty quickly after that.
So literally no movement in the days building up to that point then, yeah, you're just kind of hanging around thinking
absolutely nothing.
Amelia's inside going, nah, it's crusty in here, Dad, I'm staying here.
Yeah, honestly, we kept saying like, come on, your rent's overdue, pack your bags, you're getting evicted.
So were you trying any of the old techniques, bouncing on a ball, eating curries, going for walks, any of that to try and like get her going naturally?
Bits and pieces, but her doctor's like, look, to be honest, it is just more of a time thing. There was a couple of almost like cocktails that they suggested she make. She was slamming these citrus fruit cocktails and bits and pieces. But we weren't too mad about it. It was just the doctor was like, yeah, honestly, it's kind of just a waiting thing. And she's a bit older. No, it's her first baby. So it was like, yeah, it's pretty common. She's probably gonna be overdue. And also we think as well that maybe the initial due date that we got was maybe just a bit undercooked anyway, because we went to a couple of different hospitals for different scans along the way, and they sort of had conflicting due dates. So if you sort of average them out, she ended up only being a couple of days overdue based off of the average date. So as on one hand, it's an incredibly what's the word I'm looking for? Like understood, and like they know everything what's going on, and they can see everything and predict it. And then others, it's not an exact science at all either. So it's a real mixed bag of, oh yeah, we know exactly what's going on here. We can see this is fine, and then but when she'll come out, who the fuck knows? So it's a real strange one, and trying to like get those things. Like, can you just tell us, give us a date? And what we did, we just waited, and I just kept working along the way. I was lucky with work. I just basically had my colleagues set up to back me up, and I was like, listen, I'm just going to keep working and working and working, and then one day you'll get the email for everyone, and I'll be logging off, and that's it. And I was like, yeah, sounds great. So it worked out really nicely.
Wicked, mate. So you got fucking lucky there having an extra bed as well, to be honest with you, mate. Obviously, we were at NHS hospital, yeah, I mean, so I had this shitty old leather armchair couch, which, to be fair, did recline, but the angle of the fucking recline was fantastic. It was awkward as balls. We fucking... So how many days did you end up being in there? Just like, you just there one overnight, maybe in the next day, just to make sure everything was sound, then home, or were you in for a few days?
Let me think back. We went in. Yeah, we went in Wednesday afternoon, and we came home Wednesday evening, and we came home Saturday sort of lunchtime. So
right, okay.
Two nights. So she arrived about 5 a.m. on the Thursday, so dead early. So we stayed the Thursday, stayed the Friday with Amelia, and then brought her home.
Was that by choice? Like, could you say, "Oh, we're going to stay for a couple of days"? Or was that already pre-planned? Obviously, with it being a private hospital.
That, I think it was, if I recall correctly, it was pre-planned, and they just like to keep you in to, just make sure everything's going fine. And they were quite big. Yeah, they were quite. Oh no, you know what? No, actually, fair play to them. We ended up, because they asked us to go in early on the Wednesday for the inducement. They're like, it was basically an extra night, and they didn't take another penny off us.
Fantastic.
So I got to say, like I said, man, only good things. So if anyone's planning on popping over to Hungary to give birth, check out Duna Medical Center.
Nice, folks. You get breakfast in bed.
Yeah. Three meals a day, all that good stuff. Yeah, great. It was great.
Fantastic. Fucking fantastic. So how long was the labour then? Like you said, you went in and she had...
It was fast, man. It was fast.
Yeah. So once she was induced, did it go in pretty quick then, like?
Yeah, quicker than they thought. So they started that process, and like I said, they were like, "Yeah, this will take a while. We'll come back in the morning." And so that was around 9 p.m. That they did that, and they said, "Yeah, we'll be back in the morning. We can 7-8 a.m. You should expect things to really kick off. So we'll be back." And like I said, I think about 10:30, so they started coming along, and then by about 11, we called the midwife and was like, "Yeah, I think you should probably get back here. Things are going to kick off." And she arrived, and she checked out Nori and went, "Yep, it's go time." And things were happening so quickly. We had a bag with stuff. We had like snacks and supplies and energy, not energy drinks, but like Powerade and that sort of stuff. We had a Bluetooth speaker with music. We were music for Nori and all that. And the midwife just was like, "Oh, just come with me." And we're like, "Okay." And then walked across the other side of the hospital and was like, "Oh, we're in the delivery room now." And then like Nori was like, the contractions were coming thick and fast, and she was like, "Do not leave me." I was like, "All right, I guess we got a water." I was like, "I got none of the things that we planned to bring with us, but I guess, all right, I guess we're just going with this." That's it, man. And about 5 hours from when we got into the delivery room to when Amelia came along.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, it's nice and quick. Fucking nice and easy, mate. Jesus. So I told you in the last one, obviously we were there for fucking days, mate. We started on the Friday, wasn't there? She wasn't born until the Sunday, and the labour was heavy as anything. Like, how did she handle the contractions? Because I can imagine they're pretty heavy, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, it looked
Exorcist, head turning.
Yeah, from
the rest of it.
From the outside, it looked proper hard yards.
Yeah.
But she handled it. She handled it like a champ. Didn't take any pain relief. She was unbelievable. Like I said to people, I've never seen anyone like in person do anything so like physically impressive. I've seen someone do something so hard and be like, there's not a chance I could do that.
Yeah,
it's
you
unreal.
Can't take a kick to the nuts, never mind contractions and pushing a baby out. Mate, honestly, tell your missus, even I give her props and fucking tell her well done, congrats, all the rest of it. Going through that without any fucking pain relief, mate. Some woman, swear to God.
No, I know she was an absolute star. It's what she wanted to do, and she held firm. I think at one point she was starting to be like, oh, maybe, and then she got a resolve again, and she just cracked on, and she was yeah, she was great. And I got to say, her midwife and her doctor were great with her as well. And yeah, it was so strange because you're just waiting and things are going. And in my head, I'm going, yeah, this obviously could go on for hours and so on and so forth. And also, obviously, even though the doctor, she spoke a smattering of English and the midwife a very bit, they're doing the whole thing in Hungarian. I mean, which was better for Nori as well, because she's going through all that. The last thing she needs to be doing is trying to speak a second language and think in a second language. So I guess at times I wasn't quite totally aware of how things were progressing and what was going on. And all of a sudden they were saying like push, and I was like, whoa, what do you mean? Like,
what do you mean? Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's really quick. Are you sure?
I need another day. I'm not ready.
and then from then on, it all happened pretty quickly. And yeah, as you know, mate, preaching to the choir, that as that comes out, it's the most surreal, amazing moment. It doesn't seem real. And she went straight. I was at the top end, so I think I saw a bit more than Nori wanted, but not didn't see the full Armageddon scene.
Right, okay.
But yeah,
the missus tell you you're not looking, you're not watching that happen.
That was the pre-instruction. That was the pre-instruction. Okay. Nice. Yeah. So there was a few moments where I had to walk back and forth. I was like, not looking. Back up to the safe zone. But no, yeah, she came along and went straight onto Nori's chest and got that immediate contact, which was just watching it like whoa, and then it was like time for me to hold her, and that I was just a absolute state at that point.
You break down, start crying, all of it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they come out pretty mucky. By the time I was done with her, she was spotless because I was just waterfalling tears onto her.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant. Because they do, don't they? Like, because I was obviously, I think it's probably just the preconception from like movies and everything. Yeah, I mean, TV show, they come out and it's like they take them over, they slap their ass to get them to cry if they're not crying already or whatever it looks like. But they don't actually do any of that. Yeah, I mean,
no, it's nothing like it.
They don't even go and clean them or anything. They literally, so like Vader just about fell out of my missus onto the fucking floor because obviously her legs are up in the stirrups and all the rest of it. And the doctor, that delivered her, she was fumbling her like a fucking football. I was like, she's going to drop her. And then ended up just flopping her onto Hillary's chest. And obviously that's the first connection and all that. Like,
yeah.
I was looking at her just going, she was absolutely covered in all sorts. So I'm like, do you give it a wash? And they're like, no. And then just passed her over to me shortly after. I was just like, all right, cool. That's that t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I guess all that stuff on them is super important and helps build up a layer of protection stuff, which is again cool stuff to find out. Because like, oh, it's just another piece of information. Just shows you how amazing the whole process is and how it all works. And you're like, yeah, this is unreal how it all falls together like the most complex jigsaw puzzle, and then you just it's all put together. You're like, oh, there we go. That's how it's done.
That's it, isn't it, mate? Yeah, I mean, it's like you look at a little human when they first come out and you're like, how is all of that grown on the inside of another human? Yeah, I mean, like
crazy,
it's absolutely mental, absolutely bloody mental. So what was going through your head then? You're standing there, moments of what would you say? Encouragement for your wife. Yeah, I mean, what was going through your head of like, right, I need to do this and I need to do that. What did you feel like your role was whilst you were going?
I mean, to be honest, my role literally was mainly just to be there and let her hold on to me and squeeze the shit out of my arm and hand at times when she needed to. But she, there wasn't many words. She was not. It was better for her to just have the quiet. So that was my role, and keep getting her water and putting cold flannel on her head and neck and that sort of stuff. So that was you feel pretty useless because everything else is going on, and then afterwards she was like, no, that's exactly what I needed. So that was good. But at the time you're like, can I be doing more? Am I in the way? What should I be doing?
Yeah, should I just be standing over here in the corner and shutting the fuck up? Yeah, I mean, like you don't know where you're standing or what you're doing. Real, you're just kind of winging it, aren't you? Like, so
that's it.
And when you're letting them squeeze your hand, you're like, do I rub her shoulders? Do I need a rub her back? Should I massage your head? I mean, and you feel like, am I going to get shouted at in a minute if I do the wrong thing?
Well, that's it. Because one of the prenatal classes we went to, what the nurse or whatever the terminology that was there, she was like, yeah, you might want to like give a little bit of a massage, a little shoulder rub. At one point, did that, and she gave me a look like, get the fuck off me. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Not going to try that one again.
hands up straight away. You're like, yep, cool, no worries. Fucking learnt my lesson there. Jesus Christ. So
it's like getting pulled over by police in America, just like,
yeah,
hands up.
Fuck it out. Don't shoot me, please, please, please. Don't shoot me. Mate. Did you cut the cord?
I did. Oh
mate,
hands were shaking. Hands were shaking like a shitting dog. So I was like, it was unbelievable because they pulled it all up, and I was like, okay, I know it's something that I want to do, and they got it all ready. And they whipped out the scissors, and I thought for a second they were just about to crack on, and then she turned to me, she's like, here you go. I was like, oh, okay, and yeah, man. Considering you're making one cut in a straight line, it did not feel like it was something incredibly difficult to do. But
it's quite tough, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. It's kind of like cartilage a little bit. It's strange, like trying to cut through it. I was like, mate, what's going on here? I had to actually go like fucking put some force into it to get through it. I was like, that was fucking wild. And then you're also like, can even the missus feel this? Like, it is attached to her, for fuck's sake. Like, it
is mad that it's just pulsing through with all the blood and the nutrients and everything. The food and everything that they need. And then there was a big old squirt of blood everywhere after that, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, that was surreal. And I can picture that in my head. I can see my hand going like, like Michael J. Fox,
it is a bit of a, like, as beautiful as the whole moment is, like creating a life. I mean, there with your loved one, going through it, your baby's just been born, you've got all these emotions running through you, but it's also a fucking horror film. Nobody really actually understands it when you walk down and you see like there's fucking blood and shit lying all over the floor, the bed, the mattress, or whatever, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, this looks like something out of an 18-rated movie. I mean, like, what is going on here?
Well, like you said, man, they don't half clean it up for what you see on TV and what it's like, and a few times at different appointments and bits and pieces, the doctor was like, yeah, anything you ever thought you knew or seen, if this is your first kid, just throw that out the window, because you don't know shit, and the experience will be nothing like it. Of course, now you've done it, you know what to expect, and I guess next time round, next cab off the rank will be a little less. I said, no, shocking is the wrong word, but you just you expect there's going to be obviously a lot of blood and things, but there is quite a lot of towels, a lot of.
Did you see the placenta? Like, this is not going to be a nice part of the podcast to talk about, but did you fucking see that thing? It's massive.
They tried to give me a quick show, but to be honest, at that point, I was just focusing on Nori and Amelia. I was like, whatever's going on at the business end, I'm just going to stay focused up here and look at my girls.
Fuck the business, and I'm working on the end product now. That's it. It's like
that's it. Yeah.
They pulled. Honestly, they pulled it away, and I'm a weirdo. Like, I'll look at all that crap, and not in a way of like, oh man, that's cool, but in a way of like, that's fucking weird and interesting at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, so they got the placenta and everything, had it on the table. The woman's over at the sink and she's fucking stretching it out like a towel going over the washing line. And I'm like, what is fucking going on here? But it's because they need to have a look through it, make sure everything's fine, and they can't see anything like any sign of infection or anything on it. Like, tons of shit apparently, because I was saying, like, what is it that you're looking for? So they're just looking through it to make sure everything looks okay. But mate, I even took a picture.
I didn't see any of that going on.
I took a picture of the fucking thing, and like, see when it was sitting in a big pile, it looks like a big fucking liver. Like, it honestly, mate, it's like one of the freakiest things.
One day you're gonna have a real bad idea, and you're like, oh, it'd be real emotional if I got a black and white picture of the placenta framed for a birthday or something like that. A very misguided decision.
Nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that, mate. It's been in my phone since I took it, and I don't think I've looked at it more than fucking twice since it's been there. Like, so it was just one of those things. It was part of the moment. It was part of the whole experience, and I was like,
of course,
get a picture of that. Like, even my missus was like, get a picture. I want to see that as well. And she was like, what the fuck is that? After all of that, mate, you get some newfound appreciation, not just for your wife, but for women across the world. You know what I mean? Once you've experienced that as a man on the outside, seeing what they go through, all the adversity and the pain and everything that they like, just I mean, don't get me wrong, you've probably seen your missus absolutely flap about a messy house and going off her head and trying to control her emotions. Then you see her in there handling that like an absolute pro, and you're just like,
yeah,
right, I want to see more of this.
yeah, I've seen it in you.
Yeah, you've got it.
Exactly.
You get. Oh, go on.
No, I was just going to say, you see a fighter and they come and they put a great performance. They put everything together and then they don't do it again for a few fights. Like, I've seen you do it before. I know it's in you. Pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, that's it. So obviously at home now, and are you quite settled, quite in a rhythm, daily life? You're obviously breastfeeding, aren't you? So.
Yeah, I'm not personally.
Yeah.
No. We are.
2023, bro. I've seen some fucking wild videos this last couple of weeks.
Man, that absolute fucking sex offender who's breastfeeding his kid on the that fucker wants locking up. But anyway, let's not get down that. Let's not get down that rabbit hole.
Nah, I'll get cancelled before I've even started.
But yeah, mate, she's doing a brilliant job with that. And we did introduce a bit of bottle feeding as well, just to give Nori a bit of a break, and when we're out and about going for just walks around the block in the pram and stuff like that. But she just last couple of days she started to get a bit of the confusion going on, so we've knocked that on the head for the time being and just go back to exclusively breastfeeding for
was that express milk that we're using, or did you just go with formula for a little bit of ease?
No, express milk, but it's just because the bottles are so much easier for the drink from. She was just getting lazy and then not wanting to be asked when it was breastfeeding
time. What
time.
brand of bottle did you go for?
Philips. Is it Philips? Philips Aventa? Is that what it is?
I haven't got. Yeah, one second.
I think it is. Hold on. No. Philips Aventa. Hold on. Yeah, Philips Avent.
Right. Okay.
The
Avent, like Avent.
Avent.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
So, I'm trying to remember the name of the ones that we got, because our ones are. I'm not sure if yours is the same similar style of teat. Like, they actually have to suck for the milk to come out. It's not one where the milk goes straight into the teat and it easily just comes out. So it basically like imitates a breast, so they actually have to have that latch and force it for coming as well. So
we've got them, like, you tip them upside down and nothing comes out, right? So they've got to So it is them, but still she was enjoying them too much. I tell you what, like, I guess everyone also, understandably so, thinks their kid is like already like advanced or whatever, or like, you just think that your own kid is the best in the world. But it was pretty amazing to see already. Like, even at 2 weeks old and even earlier, we put her down and we'd feed her, and then she'd like reach up and like basically like just hold the bottle herself with her little hands, and she was like, it's like, how are you knowing to do that? That's unreal. And she's already like super engaged with like big black and white pictures and stuffed toys, and she just sits and looks at them, and she's starting to look like reach and grab and do all that kind of stuff now. And it's like, you've changed so much in 2.5 weeks. I mean, she changed in 24 hours because it was when she came out, I was like, oh, that's an alien baby, because she had the elongated head.
They all have that.
And I was like, and then it snapped back, and I was like, oh, that's probably a good thing. None of the apps we got for you were going to fit otherwise.
Let me just go get a traffic cone real quick.
But yeah, so it's just amazing to see how much they change, and like you see, like, within a couple of days, the alertness start to come to the eyes, the color become more vivid in their eyes, everything, the hair color change. It's unreal.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? So the images and things that you've been using, black and white stuff, keep doing that, mate, honestly, because like she'll just get more and more switched onto things super duper quick. But like you say, it's mental how they have that initiative straight away, because I think my missus was quite like not strict, but I mean, she like kind of stuck to the timings of things with breastfeeding. She was like, oh, shouldn't really be giving a bottle until 6 weeks or whatever, so that's what she wanted to do. I mean, everyone's different, not fucking judging nobody for however they go about it. So we waited 6 weeks or whatever it was until she actually had the express milk within a bottle. But literally the first bottle that I fed her, same as your daughter, mate, she just grabbed it and just held on to the fucking thing herself, and I'm sitting there going, fuck, you don't need me then, do you? You know what I mean, I'll just put you down in this pillow and give you your bottle, and you can just stay there. We got one of those like U-shaped pillows, and we used to just sit her in that, mate, and she would just be cushy all in there. You know what I mean?
He's like, I knew the day would come when you think you didn't need me, but I didn't think it'd be at 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think it would be this soon. You know what I mean? I was like, right, I'll just pack my bags and retire now. Then I'll catch you later. You know what I mean? So, so how's the sleeping pattern of everything? Then, like you say, you sleep like a fucking log, which is easy enough. And obviously, with the breastfeeding side, it can be a little bit of a responsibility off your shoulders for a little while. Like so.
Yeah. So far, so good, mate. She's developed a bit of a routine, so we get her down around 10:30, 11 was when it's like bed, and then she wakes about 2ish for a feed, and then 5 or 6, and then we're both up then. And then either we'll stay up or get up to, if there's stuff to do, or but Amelia will go back down for another few hours after a 5, 6.
That's really fine. I don't know if it was bottle feeding, but some of my friends that are bottle feeding the kids seem to get a lot longer than what we did. I don't know if it's because of the breastfeeding and the extra little bit of comfort that they get from mum, that they seem to wake up every 2 or 3 hours for a feed. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
go on, carry on, mate. Just to jump in there.
No, that's pretty much it. So she'll go back to Kit for a bit, and this morning we both fell back asleep as well, and. I was a bit sleep deprived over the weekend because I accidentally ended up watching most of UFC 290 live, which was not my plan. Which is not my plan. But I got woken up. So main card over here starts at 4 a.m. And so 3 a.m. where we woke up, she was a bit fussing, and I went and did a nappy change and an outfit change and come back to bed. And I thought, oh, I know Robbie Lawler's the feature prelim bout, right? On the prelim. So I'm like, all right, pop my headphones in, just laying my phone in my bed. And how could you not get an adrenaline rush and get fired up from Robbie Lawler going out in the fair? And then that was it. I was done. I was supposed to. I was going to get up at about 5ish to make sure I caught the co-main in the main event live. My old man was over as well. He came over for the weekend, and he was sleeping on the pull-out couch in the lounge. So I was like, I'm not going to get up too early, but I know he'll be happy to watch the main event with me. So I'll get up there and we'll watch the main event, and then I'll do a catch-up. And then I watched Robbie Lawler, and I was completely jacked up. So in between the prelims finishing and the main card starting and all that, I was just going back and forth, catching up on all the fights, and then basically watch the rest of it live. So and then didn't go back to bed. So I was pretty tired on Sunday.
What a fucking card it was, mate. Honestly, I could not believe it. First fight went to like early prelims, first fight decision. After that, it was like finish after fucking finish. You know what I mean? There was barely any decisions.
Crazy. It was crazy.
Hell of a card. And then obviously I interviewed Arnold Allen yesterday on the back of
yes, mate.
3 hours fucking kip. So obviously we both get in there. I drank about 3 coffees in the morning. I'd had 3 hours kip. We jump into I've got a blooper that I'll send it to you, but I am going to tweet it as well because it's a fucking belter, mate. Honestly, just started the podcast doing the whole episode 23 about Arnold Allen, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I just fucking stopped recording straight away. And I just went, sorry, Arnold, mate. Fucking 3 hours kip. He was like, don't worry about it. I was like, start that again. It was like, bang, right. Honestly, mate, it was fucking brilliant. And I mean, the pod went sound. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it yet, mate. But to begin with, kind of rushing myself a little bit of obviously lack of sleep, 3 coffees in the morning, and a bit of nerves. You know what I mean? Fucking interviewing, first time interviewing like a high profile kind of a fighter. You know what I mean? So I was just like, fuck me. So I was just trying to rush through it and rattle through things, and I was like, right, Joe, I need to fucking slow down and try and get the tempo going here a little bit. You know what I mean? And I was 20 minutes in, and I was like, I'm almost through all my fucking questions there. This is going to be the shortest fucking podcast of Arnold Allen's life. But then something just clicked. We just started vibing, just started flowing, and the conversation was going. Hour and 10 minutes later, I had to cut it off because he only told me he had 45 minutes because he was going out for the day, and I was like, I better fucking, let's wrap this up. But I
what a legend.
Said, let's wrap this up a couple of times. Then he would carry on saying something else, so we would go a little bit more. But mate, now it was fucking loved it, absolutely fucking phenomenal. But got some learnings from it anyway. Yeah, I mean,
that's awesome. I'm stoked for you, mate. That's a big get. He seems like a great guy. In the very few interactions I've had with him, he seems like an absolute diamond of a fella, and I've never heard anyone say a bad word about any interaction they've had with him. meeting him out at events or doing podcasts or interviewing with him. So I'm sure it was class, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I am really looking forward to checking it out.
Whenever you get the time, I know you're a busy man these days. I mean, you've got bigger responsibilities than listening to anybody's podcast or even recording your own.
Yeah, in fairness though, like it's not bad. I've chuck one earbud in, and if she's not trying to get Amelia to settle off, I can just have a listen to a pod and just walk around with her and rock her. So that works.
So how are you finding burping? Were you nervous when you were first doing it and things like that? Because obviously, do you do the over the shoulder burp? Do you do the sit on your knee and put your hand under the chin? Because I know a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, I do. I know I do the hand under the chin one. It works really well. Do that hand under the bash her or smack her back, pat her back, and then lean her down, and it's sort of like the opening and expanding and contracting of the stomach. With the combination of that, seems to get some absolute rippers out of her. So I to be honest, I watched, I just watched a couple of videos being like different ways to burp her, and having seen the way the nurses handle the babies, and again they're chucking them around like they're playing Super League with them, dumping them up and down, and I'm like, all right, these are professionals, they know what they're doing. Of course, the first time you're nervous as fuck trying to like dress them or pick them up, and you're like, I don't know, and then very quickly you just become like, oh yeah, no, this is
ankle picking for a nappy change and all sorts after a fucking week. You know what I mean? Just like, fucking get over there, let's get that done. You know what I mean? Putting your timer on your phone, going, how fast can I do this today? Boom. So as you say, working the bellies and the back and all the rest of it. Have you had any punamis yet? All the way up the back, out of the nappy, covered the fucking baby girl in a hair, wherever it wants to go, it goes.
Not any as bad as that. There's been a few. She loves having a wee fountain up on the mat and stuff. That second I had to get the dirty nappy off, and as I turn down and put it in the bin down to my left, I look back and there's just pee everywhere. I'm like, how did you do that so quickly?
That's a
she loves that.
Don't bin it until you've got that other nappy on. What you want to do is just fuck that one off, fire the other one in, wipe quick, and then get it secure, and then put it in the bin. Like, you'll learn that. Oh mate, I've had
but then I need to change it again because she's pissed all over. Then she's pissed all over the new one as well.
I mean, and if you just put her in a new baby girl as well, and then she pisses all over the mat, and it runs down the mat onto the baby girl, you gotta fucking change that again, mate. I swear to God. It's a nightmare. You're sitting there, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're zombified, half asleep, and you're just like, oh my God, when am I gonna learn, man? When am I gonna learn? Like, fuck. I think I even took like a little towel in with me at some points as well, thinking, fuck, the towel's going underneath her, because if she pisses, it's going on the towel, it's not going to go on the mat and flow towards a fucking baby girl or whatever, like, so. Mate,
I've been pretty good with that. So I managed to get most of the baby grow and everything out the way, almost like a little Superman cape up behind her. And then we've got the little mats, the little like disposable mats that we lie down over the top as well. So it's working out. But yeah, no doubt. It's one of those, like, just the more you do it, the more little tips and tricks you pick up along the way, and you're like, well, you get caught with something. I'm not going to let that happen again, and it's good fun, and nowhere near as difficult as I thought it would be. Like, not patting myself on the back or saying I'm a pro or anything, but before you have a kid, you're like, oh, nappy, like, it looks like a nightmare. And then I did the first one in the hospital, and there was a nurse there, and she was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, you could do it a bit tighter over here, because you could fold the top over a bit here, but you pretty much got it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not a total tard.
Yeah, I'm not as useless as I thought I might have been. So sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said your dad's over just now. Any other family made it over just yet, or everyone else just giving you a little bit more time to settle in and find your feet?
No, so he's so he's already been and gone. So what happened? What the way it went was we come home on the Saturday. Then on the Sunday, my in-laws came down to visit and meet her with my wife's grandma, and then my mother-in-law stayed for 4 days with us, to help out and stuff, which was great, and that was really helpful for Nori to have her mum around and lean on her for tips, and she did cooking and a lot of shopping for us and stuff, so that was brilliant. And then she left, and then my mum came over for a few days, Thursday to Sunday, because that's the day Wizz Air flies from Liverpool to Budapest. She went back, and then my dad came last Thursday and did the same thing. So he came for a few days as well, which was real nice.
Wicked, mate. It's always good to be able to get people to help out a little bit in it. You know what I mean? Like we spent the week in the hospital, so we had the midwives and the nurses around us for that first week, which was always helpful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just let you know you're doing all right and you're going in the right direction. Hillary's mum was so excited to become a grandma that she was straight in there as soon as she could be as well. Yeah, I mean she was all hands on deck. So it's always good to have the people around you just to keep you going and just keep pushing you. But then when you really get left on your own, you're like, oh shit.
It's no, it was great, and you know, it means the world to them as well, because they're, you know, they now got a granddaughter. They're so excited. So you know, it's great that they get that time with them as well.
Yeah. So how's your mindset? Has it changed at all? Like becoming a father, have you got a different perspective on life or anything? Have you had these wild thoughts and moments of clarity? Like it's I think I can't remember if I spoke about it in the last one. I had like crazy thoughts about my own mortality at times, like just because I've now got this kid to look after, and I started having things going through my head. Well, what if this happens to me? Or what if that happens to me? Or what we're going to do for if I'm not going to be here? It was wild, mate. I've never had these thoughts in my life before, but it's obviously just the emotions that are running through you at the time, and whatever fucking chemicals are mixing in your brain. It was just fucking mental for me. Like, but have you experienced any of that? Because I want to know, am I just a weirdo? Am I the only one that went through?
No, to be honest, mate, I do think you're just a bit of a weirdo. No, maybe not to quite that extent, but definitely, like, you know, you're like, oh shit, like, you know, like I'm going to provide for you now for, you know, maybe not the rest of your life, but a good foreseeable chunk, and like okay,
forget a job.
That's it. But you're like, okay, no, this is like, you're starting to think about all those things, and already thinking like, and then you're like, oh, but that's it. It is quite some time away, and you think like, you know, if you contextualize, like, I think me and my miss have been together for what, like 7 years now.
Yeah.
And then you go, we at the whole of that, and then she'll be 7, and then you think about what starts to happen when 7, and you start to go to school and doing these kind of things. Like, wow, that's on one hand seems a long time away, and then I think, well, actually, the last 7 years have absolutely flown by, and what's going to change in that period, and so a lot of those kind of thoughts, and but honestly, it's. Yeah, like you said earlier, you said, you know, you think this part's like the best, and you think you'll just want to come back to this, and what a time in life this was. But I just know there's so much exciting stuff to come. So it's really cool to be in the moment, enjoy all the stuff, but like think about the next, you know, in a couple of months' time, what we're going to do. And you know, we're already, you know, we've got a few trips booked in already to go to the UK. Got family coming over this way for Christmas, and you start to think of all the cool things that you're going to be doing together, and now she's a part of that, and everything's Amelia's first this, Amelia's first that.
It's like, incredible, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you get so excited about all the first. I was literally about to go on to that as well. Like, you get so excited about all the firsts. Yeah, I mean, so actually, and Snapchat memories, mate. Like, just take as many pictures, videos, whatever you can. Save them to your phone through Snapchat, because then every year you're gonna get these memories popping up. So I had one the other day. She's sitting there, a few, like, maybe a couple of months old by this point, but she's lying in the little cuddle pillow thing that I was on about before on the couch. And I'm just chatting shit to her. I mean, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. What you saying? And she's sitting there just making oohs and ahs and all the rest of it. I was like, you saying hiya? Are you saying hiya? And she goes, hiya. And I was just like, oh, like, you can just see it in the video. I was like, oh my God, you just said hello. And I went running along shouting on Hillary. I'm like, she said hiya. And it was honestly just...
I wore her down. I nagged her into saying hiya. With that there was like exasperated sigh, like, all right, Dad, if you just stop, I'll say it, all right?
I know, yeah, just fucking shut up now, mate, and go back to watching the UFC or whatever you were doing. Just, hiya. Like, it was brilliant, mate, absolutely brilliant. But we're getting a favourite word at the moment is up. So wherever you are, she's up, and she's at your feet, and her arms are up in the air, and she wants picked up. If you're in the middle of doing the dishes, so what I've started doing is I just sit her on the counter next to me, and she absolutely loves it. She'll sit. I'm like, right, you're going to pass Daddy that spoon, you're going to give me that bowl, you're going to do this. I swear she's going to be a little environmentalist or something, mate. So obviously you teach them like, uh-oh, and things drop or fall or whatever. And we went to the park the other day, and I had her in the swings. And she's turning around, she's looking at the bin, and there must have been a crow or a seagull or whatever had been rooting through the bin. There was fucking shit lying everywhere. And she looks at all the rubbish on the floor and she goes, uh-oh. I was like, uh-oh, all the rubbish is everywhere, innit? And then when I got her out of the swing to go over to the slide, she does a 180, walks over to all the rubbish and starts picking it up, walking to the bin, and starts putting shit back in the bin. I'm like, yeah, that's dirty. Get off that. Come on, let's go back over here to this slide. I'm like, what are you doing? But just mad, you know what I mean? I'm like, you're 16 months old.
That's awesome.
You've got like this, I'm going to go and clear up this rubbish about you, you know what I mean? But I was like, you don't fucking do that in the house, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're the one pulling the shit out of the bin in the house, but outside you're picking stuff up and putting it back in. It's fucking mental.
Yeah, you're somehow fine with rubbing your food into the carpet, but
yeah, right, okay, or feeding it to the dog, pulling it out of his mouth and then eating it. Yeah, I mean, and what she's been doing recently is obviously because dogs lick you. So she now walks up to the dog with her mouth wide open, the tongue hanging out, and she's trying to lick him on the face to say hiya, and I'm just like, oh my god. So he's licking at her mouth and her tongue and everything. I'm just like, right, oh well. Oh, it's good for the immune system. Just crack on, do what you want. You know what
I mean? How do you manage a dog and a kid? Because I would love a dog, and we talked about getting one before. I mean, the was like probably not a great idea, and then so I've sort of said, right, when she gets to 6 months old, let's assess, because I think it would be great for a kid growing up with a dog and all that kind of stuff. I think it'd be brilliant. It seems like an absolute headache, if I'm being honest, juggling the dog and the kid.
If we go back to what you said, how do you manage it, mate? I don't.
Fair enough.
So we got him 8 years ago or something now. Yeah, I mean, so the bond between us and everything else is already well established. Like, it is the best dog I've ever had in my life. Like, I've never bonded with a guy with a dog like this. He's an extension of myself. Yeah, I mean, so I think so what I done obviously during the pregnancy, he experienced it. He can tell if something's going on inside Hillary. You know what I mean? They're not daft. They know what's happening. And staffies are called the nanny dog. You know what I mean? So there's always that side of them too. But what we done is when Hillary was still in the hospital, I came home with baby grows and things, and just let her sniff and just get used to the smell of her to begin with. The introduction piece was like, don't try and keep her away, just let them say hello. But like I say, over the time, as it's like the developed, man, the bond that they've got, she goes up and she just lies on him, and he just sits there and chill. He'll lie next to her all day. He'll follow her everywhere that she goes, and she's the little best mates who feeds him all the time. Don't get me wrong, it can be stressful. See, when you're trying to find the time of how am I tidying up, how am I getting her down into bed, how am I supporting my missus, I've got this to do for work, that to do for work, I've got these emails I need to pick up, oh fuck me, I need to walk the dog, you know what I mean? Like, just little things like that. But at the same time, as she's getting older now, she's also getting into things where she's hitting out a little bit. So she's gone up and she's like hit him a couple of times, but she doesn't know any better, you know what I mean? So there's times like that where you need to kind of like just be watching when she's around him. You don't want to stick in the fucking drumstick in his ear or in his eye or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's little things where you just need to be careful with it. But to be honest with you, mate, I wouldn't advise, it'd probably be, I don't know if it would be easier. I was going to say, I wouldn't advise getting a puppy. I would maybe have a look at like rescuing a dog, one that's already, but some rescue places can make it difficult when you've got a kid, because if they don't know the background of the dog and how it would react, you know what I mean? You don't want your kid to get bitten, etc. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. I think if we do it, we would be getting a puppy, but
I would, if I was to go with anything, I'd probably go with a puppy, but that could be harder. Obviously, you then not nappy changing two of them, but you've got to teach two of them where to piss and shit. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different.
Exactly.
You've also got to work on the recall. Well, actually, might actually work going hand in hand. You know what I mean? You could train two at a time, 2 birds, 1 stone, and all that. You know what I mean? Train the recall and everything else all at the same time, and just positive.
Just go to puppy school. Do they do a 2-for-1 discount? Get them both. Yeah, crawling under and over things and
stick a harness on the kid and see how it goes. Like, I mean, easy enough. And you can get a muzzle if you need to. Fuck. But yeah, I would highly recommend it, mate. So for, like I say, for the bond that they've got, the relationship, for even in a way social skills, it's mad, because what I'm teaching her, no, don't hit the dog. That's not nice. Be gentle. We're gentle with pets, etc.
Yeah, same for kids.
Same with kids, isn't it? Same with people. Yeah, I mean, don't go up into nursery and start slapping the shit out of another kid. And hopefully she'll learn that by don't go up to the dog and slap the shit out of the dog. It's not really the way you want things to be going, because you don't want.
Yeah.
You don't want your dog having to be walking out of the room because they don't want to be in the room and getting nervous around the child and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because there is a big impact to them too. But I would highly recommend it, mate. If you go back and tell the missus, yeah, George said go for it, then it might twist her arm.
So yeah, and if it all goes tits up, file all complaints to George as well. So yeah,
that's fine.
I'm absolved of all problems, and we'll just
tell her my phone number's 0121 fucking do one. You know what I mean? And then send all the texts that she wants. But I would recommend it, mate, because like I say, it is good for them. It's good for you too, mate, getting out and you're getting out in the air every day and going for nice walks wherever you go, and it's just the experience. But one thing that you do need to consider as well is they do take up a lot of time and consideration when you're wanting to go away anywhere. If you're wanting to go on holiday, who's gonna? And obviously you're in a similar. I don't know how big your wife's family are. Here, my missus is from Canada. I think I've said this to you before. So who we have in Scotland is just Hillary's mum and sister, and her sister's just had a little girl as well, not long after us. So obviously she's mega busy with that. Mum's mega busy with work and everything too. So we haven't got a massive support network around us of who can watch the dog if we want to go somewhere. So he ends up coming with us most of the time. Yeah, I mean, or there's an opportunity of I can drive down to England and drop him off with somebody there. Yeah, I mean, and they can watch him for a few days depending where we go and what we're doing. So I did say, obviously, his health at the moment isn't fantastic. We never got some great news, but he's still plodding on, man. He still sounds like from day to day, still playing, still eating, all the rest of it. But what I did say to the missus is when the day does come, we'll consider it either getting a puppy or maybe a rescue again, but I don't know how soon. Yeah, I mean, like I say, the biggest bond I've ever had with a dog, so this one's going to rip it out of me for a little bit. I don't know how quick I'll be able to recover and think, yeah, let's get another one. But then also at the same time, we could have a little bit of a respite from having that extra responsibility here, and we can just spend the time with our daughter now, and we can go do these things. So there's arguments on both sides, mate, and it's just whatever's right for you, you know. If you're a massive dog person like we are, I would go for it. But obviously can consider the other factors that come into it too. But yeah, as for managing, mate, I don't. It just goes on.
You just figure it out. Yeah, you just crack on.
Yeah, you just crack on. You just go with it and see how things go for you. I mean, like I say, there's a million different learnings that you can take from it. So I was going to say to you as well. How's your emotional level? Are you getting upset at random little things? Like do you know when you get that advert of like, oh, donate to this and donate to that? I mean, even that's cracking me up these days when I see it, and I'm like, normally I'd be like, fucking shut up, another stupid charity, and I'm changing the fucking channel, and I'm like, nothing ever gets better. You always just want your £3 a month, fuck off. And now I'm sitting there and I see these adverts and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking cry, man. I'm like, oh my god. Like, it's fucking mental.
I don't know if I've noticed any change, but if in fairness, I've always been a bit of a softie like that anyway. So it's probably just a continuation of it.
Yeah, fair enough. I've just become a big soft shit, like I say. Any story, anything on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere that I see, even in the newspaper, anything that I see, I'm just like, oh mate, that's fucking absolutely heartbreaking in it. Where normally you'd be like, shut up, man, get on with your life. So we spoke about it a minute ago briefly. UFC 290, mate. Let's wrap this right around here and get into it a little bit. So obviously you mentioned fucking Nico Price and Robbie Lawler. Do you think because he announced his retirement before he walked in there, he had a total moment of clarity and was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to just do whatever I do and just smash him? Did he even take a strike? Did Nico land before the exchange of the clinch?
He maybe a glancing blow, maybe there might have been a leg kick there or something, but I don't really, nothing significant, certainly.
Definitely not. I mean.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things that like it just all came together for him. I think he said afterwards in the post, he said it was the best he'd felt in years, and it just must have been like just a total relief and just mentally him knowing he can just leave it all and he never has to do this again. And it just worked for him, and it would be the perfect ending. And I know fighters' retirements are so fickle, but it really would be the stupidest thing he could ever do in his career would be to leave after that. Packed house, Vegas, on ABC in America, knockout win, barely a scratch on him, and he can walk away just with a true fairy tale ending. And credit to Nico Price as well. Like, you know, he's the kind of guy who'll stick around with the UFC for a long time, winning 1, losing 2, winning a couple, losing 3. He might not be as dramatic losing run as Sam Alvey, but Nico Price just comes to bang, comes to either knock you out or get knocked out. And there's always going to be room for someone like that on the prelims of UFC events. And I think the UFC brass like him for that. He's always getting either performance bonuses, fight of the night bonuses, and he'll just keep fighting going because he's got about 100 kids to take care of. So, he seems like a great dude. It's a shame that someone had to get knocked out, but you know, you'd rather it be Nico Price. And in some way, he seems like such a sound dude that he'd probably be like, yeah, it's okay. I didn't mind getting knocked out to give Robbie Lawler the send off he deserved. And I hope 100%. I hope he gets you know, the UFC did Robbie a solid there, and Nico Price signed on the dotted line, knowing what that would mean. And I hope the UFC gives him a bit of a layup next one, and he can go out and get a win back, because he seems like a great dude, and he was just a perfect guy to dance with Robbie Lawler in his final bout.
It was fucking phenomenal, man. Just put him in that clinch, bit of dirty boxing, straight up the pipe with those uppercuts, and then fucking hooked him a couple of times. He just flopped. I was like, mate.
Yeah.
I couldn't bloody believe it. And obviously, Bo Nickel, fucking hell, bro. You know what I mean? You think he's going to wrestle the fucking life out of everybody, and what he done, man. Like, I think he got punched in the forearm. I think I seen a video of him after it, and he was like, did I get hit? And he's watching it himself in his phone, and he's like, oh, we're not counting that one. Because he just got punched in the arm. But fucking Val Woodburn coming out there. I'd never seen any of his performance prior to that. I didn't have a clue to do how he was going to be, what his level was at, or anything like that. And it'll be interesting to see who they put him up against next and give him a bit more of a fairer fight to showcase some of his skills, because Bo Nickel just flopped him, man. Absolutely dropped him to the deck. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he's obviously such a gifted athlete. He's got that insane fast twitch muscle, and he's been in gyms since he was probably 4 years old, doing strength training and wrestling training, and he's got that. Like, you look at his physique, and it's not he's not a bad look like physique, but he's not like a Hulk, you know, monstrous Alistair Overeem horse meat looking son of a bitch. Yeah. But he's got that insane functional strength, fast twitch muscle that just lends itself to the fact that he hits like a truck. And because he's so frigging confident in his wrestling, and would probably love for someone to try and take him down, or actually take him down to the mat and see what's what down there, that he can just throw his hands with such breath to throw everything into his shots. He doesn't care about being off balance or getting his feet tangled up and compromising his base. It doesn't matter to him. So he did that old, like, am I changing levels, or am I throwing a shot? And people know his reputation has already got people scrambled in their brains before they go in there, because they're so worried about the takedown. That his striking will continue to get better. He's a young lad. He's a dynamic athlete. He's with a perfect camp. Like Mike Brown, like, what a perfect frigging guy to learn from. Old school, like, great defensive wrestler, threw heavy shots. Like, Bo Nickel is like a modern day version of Mike Brown. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it was wicked, mate. Absolutely fucking fantastic. So Dricus du Plessis and Robert Whittaker, mate. I had Robert Whittaker taking that one. I thought his experience was just going to carry him.
Mate, I didn't give Dricus du Plessis the steam off my shite. I thought he had no chance, and it was really impressive. And then when we were doing our preview episode, I said the only way I can see this, not going well for Rob, and I don't know if this is the case. He hasn't made any excuses, so you don't know, but you do have to wonder. Is it was pretty much written that whoever wins this fight gets to fight Izzy. And I think Rob's entire existence at this point is getting it back with Izzy, getting a third attempt at Izzy. Yeah. Maybe he looked past Dricus a little bit. And also, Dricus was the best he's ever looked. And I genuinely think a big part of that is down to him getting his nose fixed, because he was so calm. He didn't do his usual ridiculous blitzes. He wasn't sloppy. And I genuinely think that in his previous fights, he's known that he's going to gas because he can't breathe properly. He knew that his cardio was just not going to be there. And so he rushes and he does things sloppily and quickly, and maybe not with the best technique, because he wants to get dudes out of there quickly, because he knows he can't go 3 rounds. Mm-hmm. And now that's fixed. We saw a totally different, composed, collected Dricus who just basically picked Rob apart. It was extremely
he was.
Yeah, the patience, and we've never seen that patience before. In fact, you would characterize his style as the antithesis of patience, and I really think that those two big factors, the nose being repaired, and then also I do think Rob probably looked past him a little bit, and it was not just because he was looking past him as an opponent. It was already announced that whoever wins is going to fight Izzy, and it's 99% that fight was going to headline UFC Sydney. And I think Rob was like, "I've got to get to that. I've got to get to that." And probably underestimated Dricus a little bit. I don't want to discredit and take away from Dricus either, because he was sensational. But Rob didn't look like the switched on or firing on all cylinders. Rob Whittaker that we've come to expect in his more recent performances, like over Kelvin Gastelum, like over Marvin Vettori, all those other guys.
Keeping it rangy and just popping in. I mean, like, Dricus is quite unorthodox in the way that he moves and his rhythm as well. I mean, he has quite a lot of like you say, explosive lunging kind of strikes where he'll just throw himself at them. He seems to catch them with a hook out of nowhere at times where they're on the back step after a jab's landed or whatever. But no, I think it was a phenomenal performance for him. Like you say, the patience was completely different, unexpected, like nobody's seen before. He didn't try and like overcapitalize at any point, even when he dropped him with that stiff jab.
No, he stood him back up.
Yeah, stood him back up, let him stumble back a little bit, and then kind of worked in there until he could get the TKO. I was just like, mate, fucking hell, hats off. What did you make of Izzy's fucking chaos rant after it, mate? Like,
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go in and at least say all that shit, at least company name right, at least just get 23andMe right. It was 36, 26, whatever. It was a little bit cringe. He'd clearly been drinking because he was a bit, I think he was slurry, he was a bit all over the place. But at the end of the day, it's a fight game. These guys don't like each other. It's going to be a fun fight. I think Izzy wins. Izzy, I think it's a lot of people don't like Izzy and his personality anyway, so he won't have done himself any favors. But he's going to sell a shitload of pay-per-views and make a shitload of money from it. And I guess at the end of the day, that's all Izzy cares about.
Of course, that's it. I mean, whether you want to see him get knocked out or whether you want to see him win, you're going to fucking pay for it and you're going to go and watch it, aren't you? I mean, so I thought the whole thing was a bit fucking wild, like it is that kind of WWE like style promotion.
Yeah, it was WWE. Yeah, that's what it was.
Like, mate, and I don't know if I'm liking this because they've done it a few times now where they've invited like the next person along into the ring just after it, and I'm just like, I can see why you're doing it, but at the same time, this isn't the UFC that I've known to like grow and love. Yeah, I mean, like let's just keep it the way that it's been in the past, and let's get some more press conferences on the go, because I feel like that's not what we don't see enough of those anymore, where there's a bit more back and forth. You know what I mean? Where you can get a real rivalry. So it'd be nice.
Definitely need those press conferences back.
Yeah,
definitely. But it was cool. Volk crossing paths with Topuria outside the cage. That was cool. Yeah, and a little bit felt like a little bit less manufactured, and yeah, hopefully. I don't know if that's going to be the next one, but if not, it looks like UFC Spain could be on the cards, according to Mr. Dana White in the post-fight presser. So, awesome. I'll be packing my bags and heading off to Madrid for that one, for sure.
I might join you on that one. Like, I'll be keeping my eye out for it. So, I think, what I was going to say there, I think Islam, sorry. I think Volk's going to go back for that lightweight shot. I think that's what's going to happen now. I don't think he'll fight anybody in the featherweight. I think Ilia Topuria obviously just beat Josh Emmett. I wouldn't say it does. Josh Emmett lost against Yair. Then he lost against Topuria now. So after losing against Yair, does beating Josh Emmett give him that title shot? Personally, I don't think it does. I feel like he needs to get one more under there. Maybe even get the loser of this fight. I mean, to get Yair and see if he can beat him again, and then get in there and fucking get the title shot off the back of that, or even Arnold Allen. Like I was speaking to him yesterday. I mean, there's a few options in there of how those fights can go and who they can fight to get back in.
Did Arnold give any indication of who he would like to fight next, or is he just sort of?
Yeah. We spoke about it briefly, and he Ortega. He prefer to stay up there. top rankings. He doesn't really want to fight anybody that's below him at the moment, because obviously he feels, and I'm in agreement with him as well. Like, one more win for him and he's right back in that bracket. Yeah, I mean, he's going right back to the title contendership again. So I can understand where he's coming from, where he doesn't want to fight somebody lower than him. And I think oh, go on.
I'm just going to say I agree, but Topuria is only 5, and I would say, given the recent body of work, given the hype around Topuria, I'd say a win over Topuria for Arnold Allen guarantees him a title shot, whereas a win over Brian Ortega, or a win over Ortega maybe doesn't do that. Maybe it still doesn't leapfrog him over Topuria because of that. Because of that hype. So, but either of those, I just want to see Arnold fight again soon, and yeah, that would be, either of those fights would be magic.
Yeah, well, he's also going through a little bit of problems with his hand, because he damaged it, and he said I think the Yusuf Sadiq fight quite a while ago broke his left hand 3 places. So he's been working. So it's kind of like an ongoing problem.
Ongoing thing, yeah, man. That's been a recurring thing for him.
So, but one thing that I should have done, and I didn't, I should have asked him, would he look at surgery? Obviously, I mean, he'd be out for maybe a year or whatever with the recovery time. I don't know if that was something, but I kind of wish I did ask him that one. That was one of the ones that came away going, fucking shit, should have asked him that. Or if he's just going to jump back in there and fight with it again, like because he said he's doing a lot of physio and things with it just now. So maybe he doesn't need surgery, and it's just like a strength and conditioning thing that his hand kind of needs to just get it back to where it needs to be. You know what I mean? But now looking forward to him getting back in there. That featherweight division's right there at the moment, with a lot of exciting fights that can happen for it. But like I say, I think Volk's going to go back up to lightweight first before he even considers defending his featherweight belt again. And I think this time, he'll get the fucking job done. Well, even saying that, Islam definitely didn't take him seriously enough last time. You know what I mean? Giving it all the little man talk and all the rest of it. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches fighting him this time. But mate, he's definitely going back up to lightweight first.
Yeah, I think I do think that's probably what's going to happen, because Charles is saying he's not going to be ready. If somehow the UFC can make Charles versus Makhachev too, the best fight I actually think for Volk is for him to fight Aljo in a super fight up at featherweight, and Aljo coming up to challenge for his belt. That way, because we know he's coming up. We know he's coming up after the Sean O'Malley fight. That's coming up very, very soon. I think, is it in the month of July? Aljo versus O'Malley. Yeah, and so you could do. No,
it's not in July.
Yeah, but
August, isn't it?
It's August, but it's soon, right? It's UFC 293, I think it is in Boston. And so if you did that would be and Volk, he says it plenty of times. He always says, it's great. I've got to make money for my family and my legacy and so on and so forth. And so that would be an absolute monster. I think a monster payday for him to defend his belt against Aljo and have Aljo come up and challenge for that sort of, another champ type situation at the back end of the year, and then he could go up to 155. And what I think I'd like to see Volk do is the next time he goes up to 55, he stays at 55. I think there's Topuria and maybe like I said, Aljo, but there aren't any other fights for him really at 45. And so I think if he goes up to 55, I think the best thing for his career and the biggest name fights, I mean, he's mentioned the BMF belt as well. Yeah. I think the best thing he can do is go to 55 permanently, because there's 2, 3, or 4 fights there, which would be mega fights for him, even
legacy-wise, I mean, just
legacy-wise and money-wise and all that kind of stuff. Because at this point, one or two more defensive as his featherweight belt, recycling them at this point isn't going to do too much for his legacy, in my opinion. A 4th win over Max Holloway does nothing for his legacy. A win over another character like Korean Zombie, somehow maybe Calvin Kattar gets his name in the mix, another win over Brian Ortega. It doesn't really do much other than just add string together some more defenses. Yeah. But I think with 1 or 2 more wins, he cements himself as the greatest of all time featherweight, which I still, for my money, even though I'm one of the biggest Volk fans going, I still think you've got to give the edge to Jose Aldo.
Yeah, be on that as well.
But it's a very, very close second, and I think if he was to beat Topuria, beat Aljo coming up in weight, and then go up to lightweight, I think he'd have a pretty tough argument against it. But yeah, man, I hope he goes to 155 permanently, and we get another monster in the lightweight division.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if he beats Topuria, he can get that fight with Aljo, or maybe even beats Poirier, maybe beats one more, then gets that fight with Aldo, because then he's going to beat Aldo's record as well. That's what I personally I feel like he's trying to beat the records within the featherweight before he decides.
That's a good point.
I'm weaving this division all together. Yeah, I mean, I think he's on 6 at the moment. Aldo had 8. So a couple more fights, then maybe one more after that, just to push it past and just have that one more. And then you can, like, undeniably, he will be the featherweight GOAT. You know what I mean? So, and
he's getting older. The weight cut gets harder. I mean, it was crazy during fight week how much skinnier he looked compared to when he was doing the weight cut for UFC. What was it? 280. The numbers are blurring in my head.
Yeah,
but in Perth against Makhachev, he looks so much fuller and so much fitter and stronger. And you know, as he gets older, it's going to be harder and harder to stay down at that weight. And so I think maybe a couple more, as you said, break Jose's record and then disappear up to 155 for you know, the last 12, 18, 24 months of his career, depending on how long's left.
I mean, and also a shout out to Dan Hooker on that night as well. Fucking hell, man.
Shout out to Dan Hooker, but also, come on, Dan, I had you at plus 500 to finish inside the distance. And then he had him. Now, in fairness, at the time when I was pretty pissed that I didn't realize he had a broken wrist, but still, he had Jalen on absolute, in all kinds of trouble. He didn't want to be there, and then he just got him down and sat in his guard for the remainder of the fight. And after he had that rear naked choke and just needed 5 more seconds, I was like, come on, dude. I was so close to cashing that ticket.
Fucking tight was that rear naked choke, and it was just too close to the end of the round. I was like, mate, fucking unbelievable. I thought he was going to get put out in the first round as well, and then he came back second,
man,
and just fucking absolutely styled on him. You know what I mean?
He's a dog. He's an absolute dog, and
considering the shit that you got in the build up to it as well, and the people fucking, he's washed and all the rest of it. Time to say goodbye and hang the gloves up and everything, mate. To come back out and have a performance like that. I mean, I had a little bit of a joke with it. Yeah, I mean, there's some killers and fucking Dan Hooker. Yeah, I mean, but I respect the man. I respect his career and everything that he's done. Like he's a fantastic fighter. So a great win for him, and to get back in there. Yeah, I mean,
unreal. And he's already been, you know, he did his pub talk with his hand in a cast with Oscar Willis as well. He's just he's a madman. And you know, I didn't pick him before the fight, and then the day before, or a couple of days before, I started to go, you know what, he is a bit of a madman, and he's talking about doing things a bit differently and so on and so forth. I went, you know what, let's throw a little sprinkle a little long shot money on him here, which, you know, I wasn't completely confident in, and I must admit the first round is how I thought the majority of the fight would go, and then he just dug deep and just walked through the fire like the absolute savage that he is. Yeah. I think I said on the Punch Drunk preview show, I think I said say all sorts of shite, and I don't remember, but I think I said that if he got knocked out badly or finished really, really quickly, then maybe you should consider it hanging up. But if he isn't able to get the win, I'd like to see him go up a weight division, because he is still a big boy at 155 pounds, and maybe the weight cut's taken a bit much on him. But man, he's completely reinvigorated himself there at 155 pounds, and just proven, you know, he may only be I don't want to use this 2 words, you know, it's a bit derogatory, but a bit of a gatekeeper. But he's basically a gatekeeper to the top 10. And if you can't get through Dan Hooker with that toughness and that veteran experience that he's got, and he's very difficult to put away, then you're not going to survive with those boys in the top 10.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's a good point.
He just doesn't have that enough level of elite talent to hang with the boys in the top 10 as we've seen. But my God, anyone who thinks there's someone in the light, who's going to be someone in the lightweight division, you better know that you can beat Dan Hooker, because otherwise you're not going anywhere. Yeah,
that's a fucking damn good point, that one, mate. So obviously we're just over an hour in. Are you tight for time? You need to wrap it up a little bit, or are you good?
I'm okay, mate. Whatever you want to do, we can keep chatting. I don't know how you know, if you want to. I know you don't want to probably make the podcast too long. People will be sick of hearing my voice. So man, whatever you want to do.
My voice, mate. Jesus Christ. So now I was just going to say, we had the co-main and the main event. So if you wanted to just quickly cover them, and then we can get it wrapped up. And just again, I don't want your missus downstairs going, "Look, can he hurry the fuck up?" Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sitting there doing all of this, and he's up there having a laugh and chatting away. You know, I don't want to get you in trouble. So
no, you won't get me in trouble. Like the pitch, I can imagine when I head out, she'll have fed her, and we'll be kipping on the couch, and my missus will watch a bit of telly. Fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping for.
And then but I'm just going to get a quick kip and all. I'll just sit down on the couch 15 minutes and just get it down. So Pantoja Moreno, mate. Woo, what a fight that was.
Absolutely fire fight. And I like Brandon Moreno. I picked him to win, and I haven't watched it back yet. So take the things I'm saying with a grain of salt. Right, okay. But I thought he was unlucky to lose that fight. Now I don't think necessarily the 49-46 scorecard was right, but again, I haven't gone back and watched it. But
that one did throw me as well. Sitting on the couch with Sean, we were watching it together. He came around mine, and when they said 49-46, I was like, hang on. I was like, what? I was like, nah. Like, it was close, but 49-46, where's that come from? But go on, Mike.
Yeah, but I thought in terms of this, and I know Pantoja did a great job with the grappling, and I know from the scoring criteria, the first is effective striking and grappling. Yeah. But I didn't ever think in those moments there was a real proper submission threat to Brandon Moreno. But again, watching it adult,
no heavy damage, like
no heavy damage. You look at their faces, you look who wore it. Pantoja looked like he'd been through an absolute war. And in the first, what was interesting, because I was watching that one with my dad, and we were both watching it going, Pantoja's just not respecting the power of Moreno at all. He was walking through his punches. He was just walking through his punches, wearing them, and they didn't seem to be doing anything. And he obviously dropped Moreno. And I actually said to my dad, I said, that could be a 10-8 round in favor of Pantoja, because he really put it on Moreno. And I really thought it was a very impressive first round for Pantoja. And then Moreno came back, and we both said, right, the hands aren't working, time to start using some other weapons. And he started fucking lighting him up with the elbows, the leg kicks, and he sort of broke Pantoja's spirit a little bit, and then the punches started to work after that. He softened him up with the harder strikes, the elbows, the knees, all of that kind of stuff, and then the punches started landing and doing damage. And I thought over the course of the fight, I thought Moreno landed the harder, the cleaner, the more damaging strikes, which still, the overall. And the other thing that the rule says, without getting too deep into it, but it says the immediate outweighs the cumulative. So that being in like one big strike, so if you're doing somehow like weighted damage that equaled 50 points of damage is better than 5 shots landing, which equal to the same, like a 10, let's say like Nick Diaz, like accumulating shots versus a big Robbie Lawler right hook. The single damaging punch should be weighed more. I thought Moreno had more of those singular damaging shots. And I also think the significant strike statistics that get put up on the screen are a load of shite. What was the fight a few weeks ago where people were saying, it was one of the biggest robberies ever? It was the Kai Kara France against who did he fight? Who did Kai Kara? Albazi, Amir Albazi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The significant strikes were well off in that. They didn't make any sense. They didn't correlate at all to what we saw on screen. And I think it was in the fifth. It might have been in the 5th round. And they said, it's 18-18 significant strikes. And up until that point, Moreno had landed all the hard, heavy shots, and Pantoja had done some good grab. But anyway, the point being, it was an ultra close fight. I'm not spitting the dummy over Moreno. I want to go back and watch it. It was an incredible scene with Pantoja getting that, getting finally the belt wrapped around him, calling out his fucking deadbeat scumbag dad who disappeared from his life. That was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be upset about it at all, and I really do hope we get the opportunity for another fight, because people keep saying he's 2-0. I don't care. The Ultimate Fighter is a load of shite.
That's what I keep arguing with people as well. I'm like, fuck off. One of them is the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, the other one was the Pantoja show. He fucking absolutely dominated that second fight, don't get me wrong, but again, it was so long ago. Moreno's been out of the UFC, fought his way back into it, fought his way to a championship, gone through 4 fights with Figueiredo. I mean, fucking unbelievable career, and he's a completely different fighter now to what he was then. And then when you look at how I'm the same as you, mate. I lean Moreno, but I'm not angry that it went to Pantoja. I thought Moreno did I can see both that little bit, and I really do believe they need to get back in there. I think Moreno deserves it. If he'd been dog walked, sound. That's it. End of fucking line. Keep walking. Go and get another fight under your belt, come back and see if you can get back for another title shot. You know what I mean? But it wasn't that conclusive. It was fucking smack bang in the middle. Could have easily been a fucking draw. If that 46 card never came out, it fucking easily could have been a draw. You know what I mean? Any way that it could have gone. So definitely deserves to get back in there and have another crack at that one anyway. So
Yeah, and if the UFC schedule holds, because they're starting to get into a bit of a pattern now with their different cities in different months. We know London is synonymous with March and July at the moment, and Abu Dhabi in October, MSG November. January would be Brazil, and I think Pantoja defending the belt against Moreno in Brazil would be absolutely magic. You could easily put that as a main event and build 100%. That card, because what a brilliant fight. And I think that's the move. Like, okay, I know Brandon Royval might feel a little bit hard done by, but you've just seen one of the best fights of all time. You don't want to lose that momentum. And who knows, Brandon Royval might come in and might spoil the party and win the belt. And then the UFC trilogy of that then disappears. But the other argument is, well, what if Moreno wins? You then have to do a fourth, and you know what? I don't really care. I'd watch those two fight again and again and again.
Especially if it was like what it was on Saturday.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It was fucking wild. So obviously main event, Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez, mate. What a fucking performance put on by Volk. You know what I mean? Like, just couldn't. Sorry, can't even say his name. Yair couldn't even find his flow. He couldn't find his rhythm.
Couldn't do anything.
Couldn't do anything with the norm. We bounce in, bounce out, keep the range. You know what I mean? Throw some fucking wild shots, unorthodox as anything. Spinning backflip kicks and all the rest of the shit that he usually does. You know what I mean? Just he couldn't fucking get anywhere near him. Like he did obviously land a couple of strikes. I mean, I'm not negating any of it, but he did land a couple. But Volk just, you know what I mean, kept his distance, stayed light at his feet, and then jumped in and smashed him. Went in whatever takedown he could get, held him down there, and just kind of done the Max Holloway approach with the fight, and just kept him on the ground and just punished him with the ground and pound, doing damaging strikes wherever he could. You know what I mean? But what was your thoughts?
Oh, mate, it was a masterclass, and I'm glad you mentioned the Max Holloway-Yair fight then, because Max obviously won that fight, but he ate some fucking shots off Yair, and he was licked up after that fight. Mm-hmm. Volk, the only damage Volk had was the scratch on his face off of. He did have that one elbow. Yair had that one elbow that he opened him up with off the back. Forgive me, but nowhere near the same damage. It just shows you the level that Volk is above Max, everyone else in the division, not just Max Holloway. He's so far above everyone. It's unbelievable. I think it was in the second round. Was it in the second round where Yair tried to do something a little bit creative, throw something mad, and Volk sort of caught it and then basically like picked him up off of it and dumped him straight back down.
It was unbelievable. Like in the middle of it. Yeah, I mean, it was like he tried to do a spinny kick and he just went, fuck off. and
it was like Yair's world just got completely flipped upside down. And I think at that point it completely undermined his confidence and go, holy crap, I can't even throw me mad shit, because he's so well drilled and prepared for what to do in these situations to manage this. And just shows you, Volk is obviously investing in himself, in his camp. People like to laugh about Blood Diamond because of how his UFC tenure's gone so far, but he's obviously a serious kickboxer. He also had some Taekwondo, absolute savages in to help him train with these specific types of kicks as part of his camp. He flies Craig Jones in. Like, he's spending a lot of money on his camps to keep reinvesting in himself, to make him the best version that he can be and be prepared for everyone in the division. And it just showed again. He didn't take Yair lightly. At all. He spoke at length in the press conference about how he basically, and what it reminded me of actually was a bit of like how Michael Jordan talked about in the Last Dance documentary, that he would build these opponents up in his head to make sure that he could go out and play at his absolute best against them. Right, okay. And Volk was doing that a little bit, saying that like, you can't get knocked out by this guy. This guy can knock you out. You can't let yourself be lackadaisical. You've got to take this guy extremely seriously, and he clearly did that. And he's going to do that. We're never going to see Volk phone it in. We're never going to see him, lose because he didn't train or he didn't prepare properly. He is the most consummate professional in the entire UFC, I think.
That was Arnold Allen's opinion on him too, as well, man. It was incredible to get that bit of insight of how he looks, obviously being a contender, looking at the champion, and like seeing the insight on how he sees him, his perspective of him, and how he's training and his commitment and his consistency. And he was like, even Arnold was saying, like, he's the best at bringing it all together. It was all of the aspects of MMA, bringing it all together and making it work for him in every single fight, no matter who he's against, what style he's coming up against. He adapts and dominates, and he was like, it's just incredible to see what he can do. And like you say, it's that reinvestment piece, getting the right people in, taking the time to actually truly assess and understand your opponent and actually not take them for granted. You know what I mean? As some people can at times. Like you say, you literally he focuses on the one man that's in front of him, and he doesn't take anybody lightly. You know what I mean? So no, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Like, and if, like we spoke about before, if he goes to lightweight or if he stays at featherweight or whatever it is that he does, mate, he's going to dominate for a while.
It's going to be magic.
Yeah,
it's awesome to see.
I know, right, mate? We'll wrap that up there anyway. So you say you're back at work next week or tomorrow or
Wednesday. So a couple of days from now. But I'm very lucky. Again, this gives you an idea of what an absolute diamond my wife is and how lucky I am. Because I'm going back to work Wednesday and Thursday. I'm actually taking Friday off because Thursday night I'm flying over to Manchester, and I'm going to a wedding of one of my best mates. We were obviously both invited a while back, and then the timing and arrival of me just didn't work out. So I'm going to that. I'm a groomsman at this wedding. So
nice.
She's been a diamond. It's just like, yeah, of course, go have a great time. And her mum's coming down to help out while I'm away. So back to work for 2 days. And honestly, I think those first 2 days will just be sifting through probably the 2,000 emails that I've got waiting for me at this point. It's going to be horrible, but it'll be good. And then next week, back in on the Monday, and it'll be into the flow of things again. So yeah, man.
So are you kind of doing this staggered return in your first couple of days, just shorter hours or anything? Or are you just diving straight back into it, 8 hours?
Just diving straight back in it. I'll be absolutely chuffed if it's an 8 hour day. To be honest, on Wednesday, I'm imagining it's going to be double digits.
Nice, mate. Nice. Fuck. Right. So cheers for jumping on, mate. Always fucking.
Oh, mate, it's likewise. I appreciate you reaching out and asking me back on. I always enjoy chatting to you, mate. Both on the podcast and on the DMs and on Twitter as well. So
yeah, mate. And
always love it.
Congrats on the fucking birth of your daughter, mate. Absolutely beautiful, and all the best in everything going forward in the next months, years, everything, mate. Yeah, I mean, and that's extended to your missus as well. So yeah, cheers for jumping on, mate. Have a cracking day.
Appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Try and enjoy work, mate. Don't get too stressed, and have a wicked time at the wedding over the weekend.
Wicked. Cheers, George.
Cheers, mate. Peace.